life, anything could go wrong. One false move and your entire performance could be replayed to millions for all the wrong reasons. The thought of something going horribly wrong didn't scare away these two creators though, Steve Pemberton and Reese Smith. They are writers and actors of a current television series called Inside No. 9. These two creators thrive on experimenting with the limitations. They create every episode with a different story and usually presented in a different way. So it's not surprising that they didn't turn down the challenge when the BBC suggested they make a live episode during the month of Halloween. However, creating a live episode was never going to be that simple for Reese and Steve Pemberton. Not because they had trouble performing. In fact, their history in performing began on stage. The real problem is coming up with a story that can exploit the idea of being live. Something that would only work if you tuned in on the very night the episode aired. I think it is very safe to say the most obvious answer to this would be to fool the audience into thinking that something went horribly wrong. But how could one pull such an elaborate stunt in an era where all the information is leaked to the internet before plot lines and twists are even placed on screen? If something like this was going to succeed, they had to be careful. They announced to the world a live episode on Inside No. 9 to be aired on October 28th, 2018. It would be their Halloween special. They also added a synopsis to give out clues to what the episode was about. It read, when Arthur Flitwick finds an old mobile phone in his local graveyard, he makes the mistake of trying to contact the owner, but some mysteries are best left unsolved. This was spread across several media articles and platforms, all building up to the big moment. But this wasn't the only time Inside No. 9 appeared in the press about their live Halloween special. A UK tabloid, The Sun, made an article about a rumour which stated Stephen and Reese abandoning Granada Studios due to having paranormal experiences. According to the article, Granada Studios is where Stephen and Reese had planned to film the live episode, but apparently both had been experiencing strange activity on set. It's interesting this rumour came out because it wasn't the only time people experienced paranormal activity at this particular studio. Looking back at its history, Granada Studios was built during the 1950s and was mainly used to film a popular UK soap opera called Coronation Street. Several of the actors and actresses have claimed to have experienced strange activity around the set. It has happened so many times that a TV ghost hunting show called Most Haunted decided to investigate the studio for one of their many episodes. Upon investigating, they discovered that an old Victorian church was built nearby and was said to have buried over 22,000 bodies, meaning the graveyard definitely spread across the land all the way to Granada Studios. A Coronation Street tour opened up during 2014 where people could pay to explore the old abandoned set. But a few articles started to come to the surface of tour guides claiming to have seen visions of children dressed in Victoria clothing. It got to the point where the studio hired an exorcist to try to stop all the strange activity. Others have theorised the studio is cursed with the amount of bad luck it has received over its run. One of the main events of this is Bobby Davros falling flat on his face after a prop malfunctioned. So, you're going to film a live episode 3 days before Halloween at an abandoned studio that is potentially built on a Victorian graveyard that also has a long history of paranormal activity. What could possibly go wrong? Well, just at the beginning of the live episode, the sound keeps cutting out and people are gutted. This happens.
I'm afraid I have some rather upsetting.
Saying they'll be back soon, and it happens again and again. It's all going horribly wrong. The announcer comes on one final time to announce the cancellation of the live episode and says it will be aired at a later date. In the meantime, BBC Two will be rerunning one of their older episodes, A Quiet Night In. 20% of their audience reportedly tuned out after this announcement was made. People on Twitter are devastated, either criticising the BBC or feeling apologetic to Reese and Steve. All their hard work squandered. They have but we might have been missing something. Think about it. Two creators, well known for their twists in storytelling, appeared on a show that went horribly wrong 9 minutes into a show called Inside No. 9. They have trouble with the sound, so BBC decided to cancel the show and rerun one of their older episodes that doesn't have any dialogue. Too many coincidences. We're still watching the live episode. As the episodes progress, the spirits of Granada Studios take over and begin to tell their own story. It's something that could only been experienced on the 28th of October, 2018.
Let us